So hopefully we're not going to sleep today. We're going to pay attention. But we're going to start harmonizing the room, making sure that we're all connected, grounding ourselves. So let's all close our eyes. Just breathe in, breathe out. Leave our worries outside. And we're going to do a little song just to feel more peaceful and get started. Ave Maria. Ave Maria, Ave Maria, Mother of Jesus, guide us in our way. Protect us and inspire us to care for one another. Ave Maria, thank you for your love. Help us clear any darkness that may be in our hearts. Ave Maria, thank you for guiding us. Now we're going to do the opening prayer with Claudia. Thank you.
Feeling still those wonderful vibrations of love, peace, and tranquility, I would like to invite all of us to put our hearts in place for the day. Good spirits, messengers of the divine light, and you, our beloved guardians, please be merciful with us, teaching us how to pray with our hearts. Thank you so much, dear God, for everything that you do for us every day. Thank you for the opportunity of one more incarnation on this beautiful, nurturing planet. Thank you, Jesus, for loving us unconditionally and showing all of us with examples how to live and spread the good news all the time, wherever we go. Please, Lord, we ask your blessings, inspiring our speakers, Vanessa, Danielle, and Bernadete, with good thoughts, positive vibrations, while sharing the knowledge that will support our progress on earth. Dear Jesus, we are grateful for this opportunity that enriches our unity, reflects about our conduct, and its consequences to the next generations. It is with our hearts fulfilled with sincere reverence that in your name we now begin our first Spiritist conference for parents and educators of California. Thank you so much. So be it.
Okay. So now I'd like to invite to the stage Vanessa and Anseloni. So Vanessa is a neuroscientist and a psychologist, and she worked for 18 years as a faculty of University of Maryland. She founded the School of Emotion. Fifth generation Spiritist, Dr. Anseloni is the founder and former president of the Spiritist Society of Baltimore. Anseloni also founded and is the president of the Spiritist Society of Virginia and the Spiritist Group of Washington, D.C. Vanessa Anseloni is a Spiritist medium, fraternal counselor, and coordinates spiritual treatments and workshops in the U.S. and worldwide. She's also the co-author of the book, The New Generation with Divaldo Franco, and the editor-in-chief of the Spiritist magazine. Dr. Anseloni is also founder of the Kardec Radio, which I would think like the majority of you know. If you don't, please, it's a great resource. And, you know, we have like, daily shows, 7 days a week. So with that, I would like to introduce Vanessa to the stage here.
Okay.
Se acontecer aquele problema, depois eu vou estar aqui, eu te ajudo.
Eita, all right, friends. Let me do this. It's much easier. It's so good to be here and see old friends. Many years ago, we came to this area and we see the Spiritist movement growing and expanding, and especially in the language of the United States, which is English, which is fantastic. And first, would like to be very thankful to God for the opportunity of being here, to the Good Spirit for planning this, and for the coordination of the center and of the Spiritist movement in California, for downloading this beautiful idea, a conference for parents and educators. It's so needed. I think when Daniel Assisi was here, he meant to say as a parent, we need it. We need more help. We need more awareness as parents and educators. We're just baby stepping towards what we need to really be conscientious parents and educators in general. So much so that it reminds me of a story. But before I say story, I have to say I'm very thankful to my husband, Carlos, who's here, for the journey coming together. Virginia and my mom is here too, and she agreed upon coming to the journey. So I'm very grateful to them too. But it reminds us of a story probably either you've heard about it or you've read somewhere. So it's going to be like a story quiz. You find out where the story is from. But the story is about a little girl. She was, according to the accounts, very loving, caring. She had a cousin who was ill. She didn't care. She didn't care. She wanted to visit her cousin. She wanted to play with her cousin. She wanted to be with her. But she had a mother who was a little bit different. The mother was always telling her, don't talk to your cousin. Don't go near her. Don't touch her. Don't play with her. But you know, one day they were visiting the home of a very important man, And the mothers were together, the little girls were together playing around. And you know, when mothers get together, you talk, and we lose sight of our children. Where are they? I don't know. I can't see Virginia where she is now, but I know somebody's taking care of her. But that's how it is. We are there, and then they lost sight. Like, where are they? When they realize, whoa, where are they? The mother of the little girl was desperate. She was like, where is she? I don't believe she's playing with that girl. Her cousin was young. And actually, the governor of the area, whose house they were in, he volunteered to search for the girls. And he found them eating grapes together. When they came back, the little girl told the mother, who was desperate, thinking that she was playing with the sick cousin. She said, Mom, we're eating grapes with my cousin. She just took by the hands, and you can imagine her facial expression. And she laughed, saying, you never do that again. Where is the story? Do you know? You've heard something similar to that? Yeah. 2,000 years ago? Yes. Emmanuel's book by Chico Xavier. Emmanuel's book, 2,000 years ago. The first one he wrote, novel-like, in which he tells the story of Aurelia, the little girl. Her mother, Fulvia, very vain woman. Flavia, the sick cousin, daughter of the senator, Publius Lentulus. But what happened next? What happened to the little girl, Aurelia, who was constantly taught by the mom not to be compassionate, to be prejudiced, to distance herself from the suffering of others, never reaching out, thinking only of herself. The story is actually tragic. In the book, Emmanuel shows to us that the journey of Aurelia is dramatic. She was born with the potential of even meeting the teachings of Christ, but the mom refused to know of the stories of the man of Nazareth, the man that was prophesizing love and equality. Now, to date, many people say they are Christians, but they still preach the same prejudices, the same maintenance of inequalities, in spite of the label of Christian. And we live in a country that is living exactly the same dramas. Aurelia grew up as a very vain adolescent. When she reached adolescence, she became very much driven to the social gatherings, to futilities in life, to that superficial life. Just like her mom, or worse than the mom. She fell in love with a man who was actually promised by her cousin to be her husband. She didn't care. And the life goes on and on and on to the point she cheats her husband, runs away with the husband of her cousin, and ends up cheating on him too. And when he cheats on the other one, the other lover, he murders her out of honor. Before the tragic end of Aurelia in that very life, her mother brought her to a psychic of the time. We think visiting psychic is so harmless, but we don't realize that it can be life-changing. When she was there, the psychic told Aurelia, if you want this man, you're going to be in trouble. You're trying to get somebody who is not yours. And you've been going through this vain life for many incarnations. If you keep doing this, you're going to die by the sword. How does he know? Is our destiny already? Is a fatality? How did he know? She was warned. How could we tell? She apparently was so sweet, compassionate, empathetic. What happened to that little girl who ended up dying by the sword after many love affairs? Why did she end up this way? According to Chico Xavier, Aurelia reincarnated many lives, progressed, and became the spirit that today is responsible in the Spiritist movement for the awareness of Spiritist education for children. May. No wonder we're beginning the event telling her story. Because that life defined her time course from their own. At a moment when Christ was on the earth, and she and her family were supposed, not only Publius Lentulus, but the family to gravitate towards the call of the Christ and join forces. She joined him later, but through a lot of suffering. But she learned a major lesson. If parents don't do their job well, they delay the progress of their children. When Kardec asked the spirits, can we ever regress as spirits? No, but we can delay our progress. And parents can delay the progress of their lives and the lives of their children too by poor education. But what kind of education are we talking about? What are we talking about? Something we haven't thought before. The spirit who animated the body of little Aurelia learned that if you're in the hands of parents who are not aware of what they're doing, you can lose a reincarnation. If and only if you don't bring a lot of good baggage with you. Not everyone is a Chico Xavier. Many people say, but you know, Chico Xavier, he had problems in childhood. He lost his mom. His dad was a little different. And he had issues, but Chico. Not every child can be in the hands of poor educators, poor parents, and succeed. The order of events is such that parents are responsible, period. Let's take charge, responsibility, and know what we're doing. But the question for all of us, we think Earth is so evolved in many ways. We can talk to people through FaceTime, Skype, etc. But the question for us, what planet are we living in? A planet in which to become a physician, you go through lots of years of education, residency, etc. But to become a parent, you need no course. What planet is this? To be a parent, you need no preparation, no internship, no residency program. Is our planet really that evolved? The most important work or job, whatever we call it, mission of all, doesn't have any regulation, let's say, in that way. We're getting better. Children's rights in many countries. Justice is keeping an eye on how we are being a parent, but not really regulating it, not really preparing ourselves. Is it too much to think that for the most important mission, we will need one day to have a course? When Kardec asked the Spirit how evolved planet Earth is, they say, yeah. Yeah. But, morally, we're far. And we can measure it by the thermometer of parenthood. No preparation. You go through gestation or even to the decision of having a child by your own whim or will. Many people just a whim. I want to be a parent, as if you're buying a doll and giving it to somebody else. Somebody else is going to raise it. Very easy. As if gestation. So these are as if gestation is just like, something else. So many people care for the dogs and the plants of their homes. But then when it comes to gestation, we have no idea what's happening inside. Zero knowledge of what science already shares with us. So when preparing for this first introductory moment together, the Spirit asked us to really raise these questions. What do we need from now to the future on the earth to actually make parenthood a journey that is less blind and more conscientious? Do you think in planets more evolved than ours, like Jupiter, people have children just because they like and they want? Do you think? Are there any regulations? For sure. You want to be a parent? Okay. Let's walk a journey and see if you're prepared. And if you're not, there are courses, internships, whatever we may think. But our planet's not there yet. Is that too dramatic to think that we need that much preparation? Some people will claim, but Vanessa, if we do this now on the earth, how are people going to reincarnate? Nobody's then going to reincarnate. I agree. But that's not the point of blocking reincarnation. It's preparing, preventing, prevention. So these are the questions we'd like to raise as we march towards some reflections. These are reflections, some answers, but mostly insights and reflections that science brings to us and Spiritism gives us guidance. Okay? So let's take a look, for example, when we talk about emotions in the brain. Just curious scientific facts, okay? By the age of 5, 90% of our brains, the size is already in place. And people are like, I'm going to talk about God and Jesus when they are 18. Yeah, it's going to be very easy. It's not. Because this brain is going to be harder to absorb it. Not impossible, because plasticity goes through our lives. But it's much easier to absorb those elements before the age of 5. The areas of the brain that will develop the most are the ones that we call the most prefrontal cortical areas. Why is it important for us to know? Because these are areas that are going to modulate functions that are related to discernment, high cognitive functions, high emotional development in humans. But it will only develop if we work on it. There are many people, it's taking place just like a kid. There are people who are 60, 70 years of age and their discernment is like almost zero. Because you need the external stimuli to actually boost the connections. Okay, let's give more facts, just so we visualize it. Baby size of brains, okay, trying to portray it. The sizes of brains from when they were born, the toddlers, walking, and adolescents. Look, few years in our lives and the much that is defining the brain. What is the brain? The brain controls everything in the physical body. Vanessa, but we're spirits living with a physical body when we're incarnated. But we can't forget we have a spiritual brain, the paraspiritual brain. So when I am talking about the brain here, we're also referring to the mold, to the paraspiritual brain, okay? That is being manifested in the physical brain, all right? And the manifestation depends on opportunities. If we're not given opportunities, that's the rule. Oh, a child was born in the forest. Could be a wonderful Beethoven. No piano, no music classes. You think he's going to play the piano in the trees? He's going to build a piano? One of the greatest classical music composers, Sergei Rachmaninoff, he was taught by Tchaikovsky. Did Tchaikovsky actually teach him, like, from ground zero? No, he was prepared. But Tchaikovsky opened the door, gave him the opportunity to bring that about, out. So education is about that, opening opportunities for the potentials of the spirits. But if I don't give opportunities, it's not going to blossom. So many parents are like, yeah, my children are going to find their way. But if you don't go first and say, let's go this way, open the doors, they won't do it by themselves until a critical moment. Not everybody, again, is Chico Xavier. Not every child is a Dalai Lama. Not everyone is a Mother Teresa. Not everyone is a President Obama. Was born under a lot of racial prejudice and came about the President of the United States at a time when we still suffer a lot of racial prejudices. Not everybody. There are many children who are still struggling. No opportunities. Closed doors. No windows or opportunities. What more can science tell us? This is just a teaser, okay? I know diagrams are funny, they're beautiful, but when we try to understand, like, what is this about, right? But this is just a teaser for us. According to scientific studies, there are what we call moments in life, blank it out, moments in life in which if you present the opportunity, that potential comes out, blossoms. You know, right now it's fall season. Later it's going to be winter. For those who understand about plants, isn't that true that there are moments in particular seasons in which some plants will blossom more easily than others? That's what we're talking about. There are critical moments, like seasons, for the brain. If you present the opportunity, that ability is going to unfold very easily and bloom beautifully. Okay? Think about a plant that blooms beautifully in spring in California, but if you go to the East Coast, it's not going to happen. It's not too hard to think about it. If because we're still close to breakfast, let's think about fruits like papaya. People love papaya or not, I don't know, but papaya in tropical countries, everywhere. In the East Coast, nowhere. At least where we are, no papaya. We have to go to Whole Foods, etc., to actually buy imported ones. The same happens to us as humans. Physiologically, we already know that there are critical periods for particular functions of the body to blossom. For example, just as a teaser for us, okay? These are the years, the ages, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years of age. We're talking about binocular vision, critical periods for emotional control. What? Look at this. Oh, and we're gonna wait until they become teenagers to teach them about emotions. Really? It's more critical when they are babies. No, Vanessa, my children are already in college. What do I do now? Yes, it's okay, you're okay, you're okay. There's always a way to remedy it. Reincarnation is one of the ways to remedy it. But the important thing is now, how can our society expedite its progress if we know of it? To know that very early we should pay attention and work on emotional control. Other things, we're going to talk more about this. For example, language, we know. Peer social skills, okay, from 3 to 7. And they become 3, and we say, man, they are teenagers. I agree, no way. Teenager, but what does that mean, teenager? Just labeling the key, but what does that mean? And some parents say, yeah, they want to do what they want to do, but what do you expect? That they reincarnate, they want to do what you do? Aren't they supposed to be them and you be you? But I want to do this, they want to do that. Well, but they are a different spirit, right? Or are they a branch of us? No, they are supposed to be the fruits of a tree, but not the branch of our tree. They're supposed to be different. Bert Hellinger, a missionary spirit who created the therapy, systemic family constellation, very wisely observed something we need to pay attention to. When we have children, it's like a fruit. It's like, let's say, mango. If it doesn't fall far from the original tree, it's not going to blossom. It's not going to be a fruitful tree. Some parents like, no, I want my mango child with me forever. And they're going to prune as a mango, but never become mango tree. From an early age, we need to say, go. I know I love you, but go. From an early age. Peer social skills. So they are playing together, play date. 3 years of age. Like, oh no, and they are like, it's mine, blah, blah, blah. And the parents are like, oh man, can't believe it. What do? This is the time to teach them how to deal with those social skills. Not later. Oh, but they don't understand, but that's the time they do understand. How do we do it? Because some parents, they underestimate the human power of the brains and of the spirit that is reincarnated. So you look and say, go to the same level. Look, would you like that your friend did this to you? No. So let's do what we'd like to receive. No, but a 3-year-old doesn't understand. They do. If we have emotional control to get there, they do. So being a teenager is more like the combination of parents' lack of emotional control and somebody who is blossoming as a reincarnating spirit and is not understood. That's what it is. When Allan Kardec asked the spirits, and that's why I was opening the ebook of the Spirits book, it says here, when he asked, why do those occur or changes occur in a particular age when they are adolescent? And they say, it is because the spirit recaptures its true nature and reveals who it really was prior to its reincarnation, etc., etc. He explains more. At 3, they're not there yet. There are more in sensations, instincts. Some things are coming up, but no awareness. They have no consciousness, but they can if we bring the stimulus to them to have discernment, think. If somebody does that, if somebody gives them the opportunity to learn it, language, look, before 1, how many parents nowadays, I remember many times bringing Virginia to places, playgrounds, and the parents say, my child doesn't talk, but do you talk to your child? No. You think they're going to talk without you talk? You have to talk. How? I remember the mentors teaching me, Vanessa, you don't change the diaper of a baby looking at a TV, looking at the window. Like some parents are like this, changing the diaper. Blah, 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 and that kid is there. Or not doing anything, not looking, no eye contact. No, you breastfeed with intention. It's hard work. But he says, read a book. Look at your kid in the eye. I know you're tired, you're sleep deprived, because that's the nature of things, but nature knows best. Keep the gospel according to Spiritism there and read it either aloud or by yourself while you're breastfeeding. Multitasking? The spirits support this type of multitasking. This type. I'm not sure if they support all crazy types of multitasking. Drinking coffee and rocking the baby and swiping the floor. That type I'm not so sure. But this one they do. Read it. And look at the kid in the eye. Talk to the baby. Sing to the baby. But I'm not Bernadete to sing. But then when you're a parent, you become a singer. I'm convinced. You become a singer. And it's so important because the critical window of development for music is also in the first years of life. And that's very important to be developed to help with emotional control and management too. So just as a teaser for us, asking ourselves, do I need to know this in order to be a better parent and educator? Of course. Do only the teachers in school need to know this and take courses, or do we as parents need to do our homework? There are many people to fix a nail in a particular window. They Google it. There's a YouTube video about it. People watch. But for parenting, I don't know why they're behaving this way. Well, Google it. Somebody's talking about, did you know there are many apps for parents? I've been researching a lot, and I found out beautiful apps for parents with very short, like 2-3 minute clips. People who've worked ahead of us and are sharing the tips, so we're not in the dark. If it's not your profession, somebody's teaching, but you're being diligent. There are people who are diligent about their preferred sports, of their preferred hobbies, but when it comes to parenting, I don't know. Why are they behaving this way? Maybe it's just a child. And we're just like cavemen in terms of parenting. Very rough. The bottom line says the Spirit's parents are sculptors of the brain of their children. That's scary. That's scary in a way. Can you imagine? You're given a brain, you're sculpting it. No wonder André Luiz in the book Mechanisms of Mediumship, he says, majority of people on the earth, majority of children are mirrors of their parents. Exception to those who are ahead. They're not going to be mirroring the personality, the traits of the parents, but majority will, because we sculpt their brains. Not only the physical, the spiritual, and that's the reason why the Spirit told Kardec, if we don't do a good job, we will regret and have to come back again and do better work. Can't escape from the reality. We're the sculptors of the brains. We need to know what we're doing. If I give you a blank canvas, there are some people, if you give them a blank canvas and paint, they're afraid of messing up the blank canvas. Like, I don't know how to paint. If you give some people a brand new computer, some people are afraid of touching the keys of the keyboard and damaging or creating problems, right? That's why when you have a kid, you find many functions you never knew about, because they are not afraid. You're going to push everything. Like, really? I didn't know my computer did that. I learned thanks to Virginia, many things. Really? My phone does that? No way. Thanks to their lack of fear. Touching and exploring. But there is a time we're afraid. Should we be afraid of being parents? No, we should be responsible. But it's like giving somebody a blank canvas. And you're going to paint with our emotions. Especially with our emotions. People think the power is in words. Emotions, vibrations. Vibrations. To give more drama to the drama. Look at this. Look at what happens to the brain during gestation. And then later when they are born, of course, later. 3, 4, 5, and it goes on and on. Friends, in the book Evolution into Worlds, André Luiz has a chapter 9, part 1, Evolution in the Brain. He explains how throughout many internships in matter, through species in the animal kingdom, and then in the human kingdom, we acquire the automatism of the functions, telling us clearly that everything we're seeing developing, manifesting in the physical body is a consequence of acquisitions by the spirit and the imprint of the perispirit in the physical body, meaning that this is telling us that this spirit has a lot already to share. And we are giving more opportunities for new acquisitions. The question for us is, why are we going to have a child if we don't know what to do even with our lives. Having a child does not give new meaning if there is no meaning. What are we going to do with the child after we decide to have a child? We start painting the canvas way before conception begins. And when conception begins, the paint is already dropping on the paper, on the fabric, being absorbed, and it's going to stay. To change it, it's going to require a lot of skill. It's not impossible, but probably it will take other reincarnations, like Aurelia. In that reincarnation, the tendencies of the past and the acquisitions through the learning of the mother just kept her in the same plateau of not much progress at all, if any, in that life. Wasted reincarnation. Wasted. She didn't regress. She didn't progress either. So the child's brain, as we can say here, 5 days. These are some imagings to show to us that our brain, first and foremost, each particular area is responsible for the processing of major functions. In this case, we're talking about sensations, movement, speech, motor control, emotions, behavior, etc. This is very brief because very simplistic. The brain is coordinated, works together, not only one area isolated from the other. But it shows here to us how the development of the brain from 5 days to 2 years, this is a PET scan, just teasing us to think about how we develop critical areas in the first years of life, coming very close to the shape, the morphology of an adult brain, so early in life. And many parents are postponing anything major, critical, for later, when it's harder. No wonder parents can say, I tried, it didn't work. When did you try it? 7. Well, I should have tried it 3. Should have tried 2. Why? Science already shows to us. For us as Spiritists, sincerely, we think science, but we don't even need those scientific findings to know exactly when to intervene to educate best. Because we're talking spirit-to-spirit education. Spirit-to-spirit education. Mind to mind. Kardec, in the book Genesis, chapter 14, Photography of the Thought, he talks to us about how we share thoughts with one another, how we imprint those vibrations that are shared and absorbed by each other's perispirit, so we can start this educational process without words, with our own vibrations, way before actually we even think of gestating a child. And there are parents who adopt, who become foster parents. Is there any doubt that they are kids? Read the book and life goes on. And we're going to know that those who come to us and who we gravitate to, we're more family than those who sometimes are born through our biological system. Because there are many women who surrender to the will of God, become vessels of reincarnation, not necessarily to spirits whom they know, but spirits that are in need of learning because of their connections with the father, with the grandfather, like the story of Amália Domingos Soler. In the book, Hechos que Proíbem, in Portuguese, Encarnação e Vida, she talks about this case of a grandfather who wrote to her and said, Amalia, as a great Spiritist medium, I understand of Spiritism, but please clarify to me what's happening in my life. What's happening to my family? I have a granddaughter. I love her. No, I feel something for her I've never felt for any other person. She is in an institution because none of us can take care of her. She's deaf, she's blind, she's handicapped. She doesn't function in any way, communicating-wise. She doesn't. I love her. I don't understand why I feel this anguish. I want to take care of her myself. Amalia Domingo Soler is a very compassionate medium, which, by the way, we're forgetting because many people are becoming mediums and forgetting about compassion. They hear cases of people who are suffering and they despise the suffering of people just to entertain themselves with the communication between two worlds. But Amalia Domingo Soler, she was a very conscientious Spiritist medium. She took the case by the heart and asked the mentors, how can we unveil this mystery? And they said, well, in a previous life, this girl, 12 years of age today, was a beautiful, handsome, charismatic man. But he was an outlaw. He would rob and kill and go from city to city, enchanting the hearts of women and very liberal, sexually speaking, till the day he met this girl of a good family, Catholic family. She fell in love with him. He also liked her, but he had other things to do. And she said, I want to be with you, I want to go with you. And he said, I don't think your parents are going to allow me to stay here. I don't think they're going to allow us to get married ever. So if you want to come, run away with him. And she did run away with him, in spite of knowing who he was. Because, she had this illusion. I'm going to change him after we're together. I'm going to pray to Jesus and they're going to change. And we know that doesn't happen. And she kept going to the church and being with him and trying to talk to him every day about Jesus and love and charity, blah, blah, blah. And one day, when you're a criminal, you're a criminal. Love's not there yet. He was up to here with her and told one of his men, go there and disappear with her. Enough is enough. They killed her. She was killed. But she loved him so much that she forgave him. And in the afterlife, she asked Jesus, I want to be with him until he turns his heart to you, Jesus. Thank God we have spirits like this taking care of us. Everyone does have a spirit like this, at least one. And one day that man, he was killed. His life was planned out for the next reincarnation. He was reincarnated as that 12-year-old girl in the story. And the woman who loved him is the grandfather. The grandfather. Here we see the opportunities that parents, educators, the whole family constellation has before the spirits who are reincarnating. And again, we ask the question, are we doing to our children what we would like to receive if we were in their shoes? What is it to be a fully independent spirit and reincarnate again and be totally dependent, completely dependent? What would we like to receive? The physical body is prepared for the opportunities. Are we taking these windows of opportunities? That's the question. Let me show you a little more. I know it's a lot of brain. Soon, in a few, we'll have the fun of it. But look at this. What does stress, persistent stress does to the brain? What are these little traces? They're like neurons, drawings of neurons, synapses. In a normal brain, and this is an actual picture in a microscope, these many connections are in place normally, all the connections. When there is persistent stress, what we call toxic stress, there are less connections, fewer connections. What does that mean? Less opportunities of the spirit blossoming, manifesting in the physical body. It's as if we're closing the doors, slamming the doors of opportunities for these spirits. Are they going to experience the effects in adulthood? Of course they will. As a scientist, I had the opportunity of doing several different studies and publishing them, showing the long-term effects of neonatal damage, causing anxiety, depression, etc. Very critical. Very critical. What does abuse do to the brain? Another corner we barely talk about. What is abuse? What is abuse? Chico Xavier, when he was poked by the fork, by the godmother of his, was that abuse? Physical abuse. When a parent or an educator tells a child, you're going to amount to nothing. Emotional, verbal abuse. You're stupid. You don't know anything. You always mess up. Is that the only thing you know to do? This is abuse. Abuse hurts the spirit, hurts the architecture of the brain. Look at this picture. Studies after studies. These are PET scans of the brain showing a healthy brain and the activity, because these are about the activity of the brain, the flow of blood in the brain, showing to us that in critical areas of the temporal lobes, of emotional processing are being deprived of activation because of abuse. Neglect shrinks the brain. You know, when parents don't look at the kids, they are always looking at this. And the child will say, Mom, Dad, and we're like, huh? Just a second. Look what I did. And yeah, beautiful. You think the child doesn't know? We're not looking? You're busy, but that's the most important mission. That's the most important mission. My job as a neuroscientist can never top the mission of a parent. Because if it does, I don't know anything about either science or spiritism. If I give my child to a daycare earlier than they need to be exposed to other kids, some people think, oh, they're just babies. They are true sponges earlier than later. Until the year 2000, as a neuroscientist who specialized in the field of pain, how to understand the neurobiology of pain, until the year 2000, we have papers showing it. neuroscience, medicine as a whole didn't believe or didn't have any actual proof that babies actually feel pain. It's been only 16 years, and there are people still performing circumcisions, which is one of the most cruel things ever on the earth. Ever. There are people doing procedures. There is a paper showing, before the year 2000, scientists doing cardiac operations in babies without anesthesia because they said they are crying because the mom is not here, not because they're feeling pain. Because we have papers after papers showing it. How much scientists didn't understand that the babies actually feel more pain than we as adults. That's the conclusion of the studies we've done. Babies feel more pain than adults. And if there is an injury, the consequences, because the brain, the physical body adapts to the injury, becomes oversensitive to pain, to stress. No wonder many people have panic attacks. It's not only spiritual, it's the hypersensitivity to stressful situations, to environments that are overwhelming for the kid. Their system, the nervous system, is sculpted to perceive those scenarios in life much more easily. They quickly can pick up and respond to it. The physical body is a blessing. It adapts to protect us. And it keeps traumatic memories, not because it's mean or sadistic in regards to God's creation, but because we need to recall what is hurtful so we don't go there again. It's survival. Physiological survival. That's why we need emotional regulation first and foremost, because that's where we make decisions on the earth through our emotions. And studies show how infants, very early on, they can learn, they already have system in place to regulate their emotions. But if we work with them well, they will more easily go through the difficulties of emotional changes without much stress if we know what to do. One of the things is very easy, breathing. Dr. Herbert Benson at Harvard University 30 years ago observed that we have stress response, but we also have relaxation response. That can be triggered by a different pace of breathing. It's what we call relaxation breathing. We can do it and teach our babies and our children. You're like, breathe. Breathing in through the nose, inflating the lower abdomen. Holding, breathing out slowly. That activates the parasympathetic system, and we enter the opposite of the stress response, which is the relaxation response. You don't stop stress by saying, I'm not stressed, I'm not stressed, I'm not stressed. And breathing and saying, I'm not stressed, I'm not stressed, I'm not stressed. We do it by pushing the button of relaxation response, which is through breathing. You can't pray when you're stressed. Breathe consciously. Breathing in. Holding 4, 7, 8. Breathing 4. Count to 7. Holding 8. Exhaling. If we learn how to do it, we can teach our kids. Everything's fine. And you know another technique we can use? And that's one of the reasons why people are so stressed out. They forgot one of our 5 senses is, let's recall the 5 senses of the body.
Sides. Hearing. Space.
And we forgot. Studies already show when we are caressing, endorphins are being released. When we hug. Sometimes parents are like, I don't know what to do, my kids is in a tantrum. What do we do? Besides other steps we're going to see, one of the things is hold, hug, caress. But not only when they are stressed, always. So they don't get to the stressful situation. So powerful. Do the exercise for yourself. It's not weird. No, it's not weird. It's important. Caress ourselves. I love you, Vanessa. That's strange. But if I don't love myself, who will? Yeah. Right? God does, but it starts with us. Oh, observe your hand. It's not you, it's your hand. Like, oh. It's not strange. It's not new agey. It's science behind it. Spirituality for real. It's like love and affection. We're emotional beings. The brain is also about emotions. It's like we're emotions, we're vibrations. Feel it. If we don't know how to do it with ourselves, we won't be able to do it with our kids. Breathe and touch. Without malice. With true kindness. For us Spiritists, the body is a true temple, a true blessing. Thank you, cells, for working with me. That's where emotional regulation begins. Otherwise, why would we be reincarnated? That's why emotional regulation begins with breathing. We are incarnated. I don't know how they teach it to the discarnate spirits. We have to take courses to know it, but we know for us incarnated, it is with the physical. Breathing is the first relaxation. Breathing. Caressing. Let's rescue this. And don't be shy about it. I'm an American, not touch. I'm going to be sued. If the judge calls us and say you're being sued because you're being too kind, too friendly, too huggy, do you want to hug? I have science to prove to you because there's no malice. It's a friendly hug, Judge. You want to experience it too? Seriously. Jesus brought us here for this. Don't be shy. That's why we had to learn from our culture. I'm not going to say to be culturally inappropriate at work. Don't do that. Okay. Carol does it. But you can. Yeah, you're allowed. Right? By the school. But we're just saying, in our relationship, starting at home, let's bring it out. It's a gift we're given. Our brain responds to touch. It feels loved, nurtured. We need it. And when we hug, joy is saying, yeah. And anger is like, no. And sadness is like defeated. And fear is like, what? Right? And spy is like, oh, well. But when we hug, when we cherish emotions that are positive, we are taking charge of our nervous system. Our generation today is so blessed. Not that we aren't, but the new generation is so blessed. They are born with so many tools for emotional awareness. For successive years, since the movie Frozen and then Inside Out, we are given clear instructions about emotional awareness. What are we doing with it? These are God sent. The movies don't need to be given by Chico Xavier, Emmanuel, to know, for us to know that they were sent by the elevated spirits. Because this new generation are coming here with greater emotional duties and awareness. But are we ready for it? What do we do? One thing we know, we're educating the immortal soul. Who are we? We are children of God. Chico Xavier was one of the first spiritists, besides Euripides, Barçanufo, and the May and others, to tell us that we need course for parents. For parents who are here, we would recommend, without the Spiritist approach, great exercises in this book, The Whole Brain Child by Dan Siegel. One of the experts in the field of emotional education for children, as for educators and parents. As they say, it's up to adults to try to influence that growth in a positive direction, because tremendous neurogrowth is happening. We're sculpting the brains, and we have to be responsible. If we tell in our center, love Virginia, I'm blessed that God has given me the opportunity to be a parent, but I tell every girl who comes, I don't wish parenthood on anyone. And people are like, what? I love being a mother. I love Virginia as a daughter too, but I tell you, that's not a wish. It's not in the wish list. It's responsibility. You don't wish to be president of the United States because it's responsibility. It's responsibility. It's beyond wish. It's beyond our will. So we really need to be dutiful in that regard. Be responsible. Really? You want to have a kid for what? Oh, because I love Pink and Hello Kitty. Me too, but that's not why we have children. Oh, because when I grow older, I want somebody to take care of me. That's slavery in a way. That's emotional blackmail. And I want them because to fulfill the dreams I couldn't achieve. Wrong reasons. Oh, because of certificate of maturity. Now I'm an adult. Now I'm responsible. I remember when I didn't have kids and people said, oh, you don't know what it is because you're not a parent. No, I know what it is. That's why I'm not a parent. Because when I decided I was already 40 years of age, 40, I knew. That's why I postponed. Never tried. When I said, okay, now, yes, God, if you want, please, next month I was pregnant. Because it's responsibility. That's not in the wish list. We cannot teach our children that having babies is like the Storks movie. Educating the spirit for immortality means that our family becomes the main nourishment for the soul. Knowing that our genetic pool is going to be an opportunity for them to open windows for growth. If they are born with a problem, it's not because of us, but they need the experience. Probably they're more prepared than us to take that step. The spirit's mind imprints in the perispirit and brings the genes that will imprint the vibratory disturbances and the altered neurochemistry and everything else in the physical body. The book that Divaldo Franco psychographed, Torments of Obsession, Tormentos da Obsessão, has a chapter when Dr. Ignacio Ferreira talks about how the genes are a consequence of our spiritual load and not any reverse, okay? They are windows of opportunity. Our family becomes a window of opportunity. Our family meaning not only the parents and the kid, but the grandparents, the siblings, the relatives, the uncles, the neighbors. Emmanuel said the greatest investment is in the children. We are going to reincarnate through whom? Most likely through the ones we're taking care of. So we need to work on emotional awareness. How? Let's do one exercise before we wrap up this part, okay? Sorry. Let me get you the cards. Actually, the mirrors, I forgot. We brought mirrors. We don't have mirrors for everybody, but you can share, or you can use your camera in your phone, okay? It's a true important exercise for all of us. Carol and Mark have done it, so they're they did the internship on it. You can use the phone. Yeah, you can use the phone if you want. But if you want the mirror, try the mirror too. We brought it in the I don't have a mirror. I have just a few. It's just to create the visual impact of a mirror. So you go Facebook during the exercise. Go Facebook. That's what I have to tell my students. Go Facebook during class. Let me see if I have more. I have more. One more. One more. One more. Who wants more? Yeah. Is it broken? Yeah. But don't worry, I broke it. It's not yours, so you're safe. All right, so emotional awareness. Sorry, friends. The rule is this. Name the emotions to tame the emotions. Science says it. The therapists have been working on it. How many emotions do exist? More than 150. I thought it was only joy and spite and sadness, like Inside Out. No, those are basic emotions. Even animals have those emotions, but humans are able of much more. What are they? How important are they? Very important. But the emotional number one that we need to exercise so we can also share with our children the same exercise is the emotion of self-love. Self-love is the key to everything. Oh, but I have so many problems, Vanessa. Well, God knows. And God still is giving us the breath we have. Big deal. Big deal. God loves us. Do you think God's going to love us more when we get better? But we still feel it. Yeah, God's going to love us so much more. He's going to say, yay. No, He loves us unconditionally. He loves us today the same He loved us yesterday. And will love us tomorrow when we get better. How does that work? We don't know, but that's how it works. So what is the key? Self-love. If I don't love the creature of God, me, I cannot love anyone. And then I don't love God either. Oh, God, I love you. But you know, I don't deserve to be happy. And Kardec says, it's as if we're talking to the painting. You're an ugly painting and the painter is just next to us. Do you think the picture is going to be hurt? God's not going to be hurt, but it's as if we're insulting God. We're God's creatures. So, we need to sing and look in the mirror. No, we're going to first say the affirmation, okay? The affirmation is, I am a child of God. I love and approve of myself. And one more time. I am a child of God. I love and approve of myself. One more time. I am a child of God. I love and approve of myself. Now singing! Sister Bernadette is here. I sing that with Regina in this way, Bernadette, but you can sing. I love and approve of myself in ways that are pleasing to me. I love and approve of myself in ways that are pleasing to me. I love and approve of myself in ways that are pleasing to me. How does that feel? Try it every time. Tell your children, bring them to the mirror and play with them, saying, look how beautiful we are. Not only them, we are. Look, I love the body. I love myself, and play and sing and say, you're a child of God. And there is actually a song that was mediumistically received at the Spiritist of Baltimore. And then it became a classic song for us as educators in Spiritists in our area, which is like this. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I reincarnated to learn to do good. Reincarnation, the path of progress. Reincarnation, the opportunity. Reincarnation, the way to become good, to achieve true happiness. And then you can keep going, like say you are a child of God, we are children of God, and we feel the connection. We are vibratory beings. When Kardec asked, what is the definition of spirit? In the Spirit's book, the Spirit said, well, with your vocabulary, it's going to be hard to define. Let me say, like a flame. Can you visualize yourself as a flame? It's a little awkward, right? We prefer to look at ourselves as we are now with the physical body. But that's what we are. So as a flame, we are vibrating as we're thinking. We are vibrating as we're singing. We are vibrating as we think. We vibrate. We are vibrating beings. That's why emotions are the key. No wonder when Nicodemus, the doctor of the law, recognized that Jesus Christ was the Messiah of the Scriptures, he approached Jesus and said, I recognize you're the Messiah we've been talking about. I recognize you came to bring us the kingdom of God, but I don't know why. I've been studying the law my whole life, and I still don't get it, how we're going to get there. Jesus very kindly looked at him and said, Nicodemus, it's not enough to know the Scriptures. You forgot to feel them. In all of André Luiz's books, all of Humberto de Campos' books through Chico Xavier, all of Emmanuel's books, we have been researching. The Spiritist doctrine points to the direction, emotional awareness, emotional changes, emotional development, emotional education. As Jesus said, we have forgot to feel it. It's not enough to know we are spirits. It's not enough to know that Jesus is the guide and model. Have we felt them? To wrap up, so we have our break for the whatever the rest of the program we have, it's lunch or whatever it is, a snack or a major question. If Jesus is our guide and model, Joanna de Angelis says that in the highest realms of the earth, the spirit that are most illuminated, they have such reverence before Jesus that they don't even say Jesus, they say the Lord Jesus. So what is it to feel that we have a Lord in our lives? I want to know you, Lord Jesus, guiding us, modeling it. What is it? Feel it. Let's close our eyes and feel it. Lord Jesus, breathing in, feeling our connection. Breathing out, surrendering. And we open our eyes, go back to the Gospel according to Spiritism, True Recipe for Parenting, Chapter 14, Item 9, St. Augustine Thesis. And he says, the mission of parents is not difficult. All we need to do is to connect our child to God. But in that journey, here is Jesus. If we don't feel, we can't do it. If we feel it, he said, you can do this and much more. Let us rejoice, hope, courage, and faith, and go on. Okay? Thank you.
Before we go to our break, I would like us to feel help because we're gonna take like 6 chairs in the middle. We're gonna have an aisle and we're gonna have 3s and 3s. So if you could help me out, or we will remove the chairs, but if you are in the middle, you need to keep back. So you find.
Is the best one. Life will keep going, and if I just keep it going, I'm always on the right side, the sunny light side, sunshine. I'm always in sunshine. I make my own sunshine. Every step I take is the best one. Every move I make is the best one. Life will keep going if you just keep it going. I'm always on the right side, the sunny light side. Every step I take is the best one. Every move I make is the best one. Life will keep
You guys, we're gonna restart here.
I'm always on the bright side, the sunny light side, sunshine. I'm always in sunshine. I make my own sunshine. take is the best one. Every move I make is the best one. Life will keep rolling if I just keep it going. I'm always on the bright side, the sunny light side. Every step I take is the best one. Every move I make is the best one. Life will keep rolling if I just keep it going. I'm always on the bright side, the sunny light side, sunshine. I'm always in sunshine. I make my own sunshine. Every step I take is the best one. Every move I make is the best one. Life will keep rolling if I just keep it knowing that I'm always on the bright side, the sunny light side. Every step I take is the best one.
Everybody?
Every move I make is the best one. Life will keep rolling if I just keep it knowing I'm always on the bright side, the sunny light side, sunshine. I'm always in sunshine. I make my own sunshine. Ah.
All right. See?
All right, welcome back, everyone. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about Bernadete before she starts. I just need to call her video here real quick. So Bernadete was born and raised in Brazil and has been working with Spiritism for more than 18 years. She has been a Spiritist educator, devoting her time to compiling material, resources, and workshops to educate children, youth, parents, and educators in Spiritism in the United States. She studied Spiritism philosophy at FESP, Spiritist Federation of State of São Paulo, and she's also an elementary school teacher in San Diego, California. She's the coordinator of the youth program for the United States Spiritism Symposium. She's also a collaborator of the Kardec radio team, the Spiritist magazine writing Spiritist articles about children and youth. Bernadete Leal is currently a board member of the Spiritist Society of San Diego. So.
I was so excited when I came here. Who remembers you brought me here? How long was it? 7 years ago, 6 years ago? And I remember I had so much fun. And I go, hey, I'm going back home. And singing forgiveness and having fun. Yes. All right. Well, a lot of things have changed. I officially got my teaching credentials since that time. Got my master's in education. And start subbing for a long time until somebody decides to give me a contract. That's what we want. And I taught in the garden for 3 years and then 5th grade. So I was thinking, whoa. Okay. I was thinking what I'm going to say today. What am I going to share? And I thought, let me share a little bit about my experience teaching. But I'm not a teacher. No, you are. You may not be officially an educator. You didn't go to college to get a teaching credential. But everybody in the world is a teacher, a psychiatrist, right? A doctor. We are always telling everybody, giving some advice. So my intention today is, after I share a little bit of my experience, something I'm going to say here, it will inspire you or make you think about the situation. Because this is the reality of our youth today. And even if you're not a parent, you have a nephew and nieces, right? Cousins. Or if you have a child and sometimes the child comes home and say, hey, my friend is having a problem, is trying to commit suicide. So let's educate ourselves. And this is just trying to inspire you and make you think. What I did here is not saying it has to be this way, because I was experimenting and trying to learn. So that's my intention. All right. And I'm not very computer savvy. If I freak out, I would just breathe. Right? Or I go, Daniel, come on. This morning Daniel saved me because I was about to freak out. I go, calm down, Chia. I can do this. All right. So this is me this year, and this was last year, students. So I had a big transition. After teaching darling kindergartens, they're so adorable. You know, they love anything you teach them. They want to learn so bad. And you know, after you teach 2-3 years of kindergarten, well, you love or hate, because they have a lot of accidents too. Tell me about it. I had one student, she had to carry a bucket all over because every time she had anxiety, she threw up. And you need to be able to clean their mess and accidents too, and number 1, number 2, or every other numbers that come. And you just have to love them. Oh, technology. All right. And then I was so happy. And I went to another school and the teacher said, you know, you're good. I'm going to give you first grade or second grade. Yeah, I think I'm ready for the transition. A week before school started, she called me. We have a problem. We need another teacher for 5th grade. Okay, I go from 5 years old to 10 in a second. And of course, I was freaking out, but I said, I can do it, right? It wasn't as easy as I thought. And there's another thing about the schools is that when you are a new teacher, they give you all the students that are very challenging in the classroom. They came to my room and they give this called the cards. They have a party. It's the cards, and they say, if it's a good student, you have no dots, red dots. If it's okay, 1 dot, 2, but if you have a 3, half of my kids have 3 dots. And I go, I can do it. Oh, I can totally do it. So here are my babies. You can see the difference, and I don't have all of them. It's about 32, but here in this field trip, some of them got suspended. And they were not allowed to go for safety issues. So I go, okay, I can do this. Prepare the lesson. I got it, Bernadette. I'm a spiritist. I love children, so I can do it, right? Yeah. And this is the reality. This is my day, every day. Can you relate to me? She's a high school teacher. Anybody here is a teacher? You feel my pain? But I look at them, they're laughing, they go, oh yeah, oh yeah. Look at that. Here, I had depression, fights, crying, you name it. I had one student that I call him the storm, because every time he got mad about anything, he decided to walk out of the room, storm out of the room, but he loved to kick every trash can. And then if there were charts on the wall, it was just beautiful. You know, he just loved the idea of grabbing everything on the wall and he's looking at me. So of course I decided not to put up any chart on the wall after that. I go, okay, go do your thing. So they were all, I had one that every time he was upset, he crawled under my desk. And he was like this. One day I tried to talk to him, nothing, everything I tried. Then 5th grade, and I have a bucket full of stuffed animals. My reaction was, I grabbed 2 stuffed animals, I went down, I was teaching math, and I just did like this. And he grabbed both, and he was like this. And he stopped crying. 10 years old. So, another thing that we used to celebrate, No Blood Day. That was a good day. Yes, if it's after recess, we celebrated if all my kids were able to come back to the classroom without fight, or 5 of them were in the nurse's office. Weird, I'm saying nursery, like babies. And because they always fought during recess. They're crying, angry. So this is me, almost every day. Came home. Okay, I'm gonna say something sometimes. My husband called me, where are you? Happy hour. Did you know that teachers have very high index of alcoholism? That teachers drink a lot? This is true. It's very stressful. And people come to me, you're lucky you have 2 months off. Yeah, to recover from my trauma. So, this was me. I came home, told my husband, what was I thinking? I don't want to go back tomorrow. I don't want to ever be a teacher. The worst decision of my life. I'm just going to go back to answering phone calls. It's better. Honey, you can do it. And of course, something happens when you go to bed and you pray and you sleep. And you wake up with new energy and with ideas. Thank God for the spiritual mentors. Educators are the only people who lose sleep over other people's children. All right. So I thought, I know what the problem is. I have no classroom management, or it's very bad. All the teachers that have been teaching for 10 years, you gotta be firm. You have no discipline. You have really bad classroom management. And I felt horrible. Okay. YouTube classroom management. There was a workshop that was there. Try this. I have like 10 books on classroom management. And I tried. Did it help? Yes. But it didn't last long. So in my mind, there was something. What is it here that I don't see? This is all explain what classroom management is. And then I decided to do some investigation. What's going on with these children? I went to their CUNES, it's a folder with all their information. Then I talked to the psychologists. Then I talked to their older, last year's teacher. And I talked to parents, and I gave a survey to the children to answer, talking about themselves. And this is what I found out about my kids. 80% of my students experience trauma. And the stories, their favorite subject was personal narrative. That I taught him to write. I had a list of feelings. I go, talk about a moment of your life. And that's when I found out about them. I had a child that he saw her cousin got run over by a car. One, she said, my dad, before he left, he had a gun on my mama's head. Well, and of course, this yelling and screaming, I didn't even have to read. I was to see at the moment the parents came to pick up the child. I could hear the parents screaming by the time it's getting closer. I could hear. Divorce, sexual abuse, because and the sexual abuse that I found out was through the parents. Sometimes the parent came to me and said, my child's come home complaining that her friend touched her hand. I go, it's okay, no, she comes home crying every day. And I go, why? She says, because she was sexually abused. So any man that touches her, she freaks out. So, and I go, okay, I need to do something about it. And I was worried about the academics. They are reading at second grade level. They could barely count. They could not make a 10. Can you make a 10? If I give you 2, how many more do you need to make a 10? 2. How many? How many more numbers you need to make 10? Thank God. Let's try again. 7. 5. Okay. I teach this in kindergarten. Counting. Let's make 10. They need to know. And the kids will go 2. And they go 3, 4, 5, 6, 5th grade. Their level of math, their level of reading, their level of writing. And if you say, I'm not a professional in that area, if there is a learning disability, they need to be assessed. But I could tell that they could learn, but there was something that was blocking their academics. So I go, okay, what is trauma? So I went to find out. I did some research. It's a very difficult, unpleasant experience that causes someone to have mental or emotional problems, usually for a long time, according to Webster Dictionary. But it's more than emotional, mental, physical, you name it. Vanessa can help more. But a trauma is an experience. The experience is over, but it has the tendency to continue to have an effect. Imagine if you get clay and you press your hand on the clay really strong. And I want to take the hand off. The pressure is not there, but the impression stayed. And that's what's going on with those kids. So I remember calling Vanessa. Remember Vanessa? I don't know what to do, Vanessa. I tried everything. And of course, Vanessa, as a scientist, she gave me all the explanation about the brain, the emotions. And I was like, oh my God. But the bottom line, I had to translate into my language. That was, I just get it that their brain needs to do a click. So that's my translation. It was a click that was missing. And that click didn't happen when they were young. It was supposed to. So it was my job to start clicking their brain. So I did a lot of research. And I found out, have you heard of the ACE? ACE, Adverse Childhood Experience. So ACE, they did a research and it started in San Diego, Kaiser Hospital. And they realized that a lot of kids, they were sick all the time. A lot of kids obese and with a lot of emotional problems. There was a lot of health issues. And by the way, my students missed the school a lot. And then they did a research. And then they gave those kids or parents a quiz with 10 questions. And if you go through any of this, the higher number, the highest is the risk of you having healthy issues, obesity, diabetes, heart problems. Okay, this is everything. This is in the milk now. But that's a very important quiz. And I ask my kids those questions, but I change a little bit. I made kid-friendly and some questions, the sexual part I never said. So I'm going to read the quiz, and all you're going to do when I read, if it's yes, you just go. So you start counting to see. Maybe you were a trauma baby and you don't know. Maybe some of the health issues that you have could be caused by some trauma, right? And you don't need to share if it's very personal. You don't need to go, 1, 2, and if you feel comfortable or if you feel shy, it's your business, very personal. You can just. All right, are you ready to see if you had any trauma in your life? Somebody's already laughing. But these things must have happened to you before the age of 18. Right? If it's happening right now, yes, it's a trauma, but you, as an adult, you can recover a little bit easier because you have the awareness. But little kids, okay, you have a pen or a finger, whatever it is. 1, did the parents or other adults in the household often swear at you, insult you, put you down, or humiliate you, or act in a way that made you afraid that you might be physically hurt? Go there, pinky, if it's. Did the parents or other adults in the household often push, grab, slap, or throw something at you? Or even hit you so hard that you had marks or were injured? Did an adult or person at least 5 years older than you ever touch or fondle you, or have you touched their body in a sexual way, or try to or actually have oral, anal, or vaginal sex with you? Of course, I didn't ask this to my kids. Or did they touch you in a way that you didn't like? We just make this. So 3, 4. Did you often feel that no one in your family loved you or thought you were important or special? Or your family didn't look out for each other, feel close to each other, or support each other? Did you often feel that you didn't have enough to eat, had to wear dirty clothes, and had no one to protect you? Or your parents were too drunk or high to take care of you or take you to the doctor if you needed? Were your parents ever separated or divorced before the age of 18? Was your mother or stepmother often pushed, grabbed, slapped, or had something thrown at her, or sometimes or often kicked, beaten, hit with a fist, or hit with something hard, or even repeatedly hit over at least a few minutes, or threatened with a gun or knife? Okay, this is common with a lot of my students. This reality here. Did you live with anyone who has a problem drinker or alcoholic, or who used street drugs? Was a household member depressed or mentally ill, or did a household member attempt suicide? My whole life raised by my mother was this. Constantly, I've seen her trying to commit suicide in front of me. The amount of medicine, we say faixa preta. What is called that? You know, it was medicine that was controlled medicine, yes. And it caused a lot of things in your life. And 10, did a household member go to prison? I do this with my kids. I just see their hands up. So no wonder those kids came over. So how many did you have? Who wants to share? Just say, okay, we'll go 1. You gotta go 1, 2, whoa, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You see, we were trauma. A lot of we went through this growing up, and some of the, what's going on with us, and we have a reaction of behavior, and we don't know where did it come from. That's where it came from. Because at the age 18, before the age of 18, something happened in your life. So you just need to be aware and see what are we going to do about it. Get to know us. That's why I love Spiritism so much, to get to know yourself. Our kids, they don't know. You don't know if the child that's your neighbor that lives next door went through this. So it's important for us to be aware, because you're going to send your child to a school and they're going to talk to somebody that went through that too. So, but since we are spiritists, think about the sum of this trauma can be, you probably suffer some of this trauma from past lives. You are a wonderful parent. You do everything. You know, it's so spiritual. Oh, talk to your child. Beautiful. And then you have this baby. It has something going on. You know, where did it learn this? From past life. When I was young, before I went to bed, I was to hide all the knives in the kitchen. And people look at me and say, what's wrong with you? I was afraid of knives. I was to go, whenever I saw a knife, I was to open the drawer, put it close. I could not see any knife. I don't know, probably somebody murdered me or I did something with knife in past life, but there was a trauma from past life. And when you are teaching a child in a Spiritist center, you never know. Maybe there is a past life trauma that we need to start thinking about and what we can do to help. And yes, the child can have fear, illness, nightmares, strange behavior like me with a knife, and you don't know why. Physical pain. So just think about trauma. Now, right now in San Diego, we are working a lot of schools in being a trauma-informed school, teaching teachers about trauma and how we're going to handle. They said to me in my classes, in doubt, just consider 100% of your classroom, they all have trauma. It's easier. And then I go into the something, and there was only one thing I could do, love those children. But not the eros, the romantic love, the philia, brotherly and sisterly love. It was agape. Love that child unconditionally, no matter what. And that child that kicks me, because they did, punched me, pushed me, cussed me like crazy. And then in the morning, I had to go to school and look at that child and say, that child is a child of God. And it's hard when you're hurt. When you look at your hand and it has a big bruise. It's that love that you have to have every single day. Every day is a new day. Even when you fight with your child, or you argue with your mom or whatever, you know, you gotta let go. And the morning is a new day. Because God does this to us. Every day, God gives us a new day when we mess up. And we messed up big time. We always do it. Because in a way, we are children. We are learning. Keep calm and love your students. And love your kids. I love this. This is my motto. The student who deserves love the least, you know the one, is the one who needs love the most. Let's say with me. Let's say, okay. The student who deserves love the least is the one who needs love the most. So when your child doing this, when your mom, your husband, your wife, partner, whoever is like, oh, you got on my nerve, but you don't deserve love right now, but that's he needs the most right now. That helps me, my mantra. Okay. So here's what I decided to do. I decided to teach my children social and emotional learning. They had no social and emotional skills. And I go, well, the academics, they are pretty low. I kept teaching, you know, but I say, I'm going to take the time to do this. So social emotional learning, you're going to teach them skills, attitudes, how to understand their emotions. And I did a pre-assessment. I felt like a scientist. But guys, when you're a teacher, you do a lot of pre-assessment, post-assessment, pre-assessment, mid-assessment. I've never heard so many assessments in my life. So I sent them a questionnaire, and it was with questions about their social skills, how important those skills were. Like, do you think it's important to listen to others? Do you think it's important? You guys say yes, no, I don't know, things like I don't care. And then I did about the emotional. I said, share one situation that makes you happy, sad, angry, or frustrated at school. They all knew that. They had a list. They could identify the situation. I go, describe your feeling in your body. Like they go, oh, I got a headache, I got angry, my teeth goes like this. And I go, what do you do when you feel that way? And all of them had a way of coping with it. And it was all unsafe. I yell, I scream, I punch the wall. There were like 3 girls that said, who cares? Nobody cares about me. She answered that. She said, who cares that I feel bad? I'm not important. So I said, all right, I got it. They all have coping skills, but not good ones. Think about your coping skills when you're frustrated, when you are angry, when somebody does something to you. How do you do? How do you handle? First, you have that feeling, right? And accept the feeling. Don't deny it. I teach my kids, if you're angry and you know it, it's okay. If you're angry and you know it, it's okay. If you're angry and you know it, it's okay. You can control it. If you're angry and you know it, it's okay. If you're angry and you know it, take a breath. And if you're not angry and you know it, take a breath. If you're angry and you know it, go for a walk. Count to 10. And he said, we can do all this. So I decided to teach my kids coping skills. By the way, I brought a list of 84 coping skills I printed for you. Okay, it's in that envelope. and then I showed the kids 84 coping skills, and I said, all right, let's pick 12 that you think is going to relate. And after they picked in a group, I direct taught every single one. We talk about it, we practice. Practice, let's do a little story. Let's practice. I had lists on the wall. By the door, I had the coping skill of the week. Reminders like, let's work in a group. Oh, remember to use one of those coping skills when you're working with your buddy and when you feel like you want to fight him, what are you going to do before recess? And it was a constant reminder because what Vanessa had told me, that click. So it was through this that those clicks start to happen because their parents didn't teach them or they had nobody. So think about yourself. What are your coping skills? Do you have safe coping skills? You know, we have the awareness, but sometimes we get so angry. So I'm going to share something that my kids did. And, these are their coping skills. They decide to list your options. In any situation, you have choices. They stop. When in doubt, do what's hardest. The most difficult path, and you don't need to I made this child friendly, but this 12 is among us the 84 that I'm going to give it to you. All right? Why? Because the easiest for them was always punch their friends. This is the easiest. So they say, all right, so the hardest is not to hurt anybody. Talk yourself through, self-talk, help in difficult times. Imagine, create a mental picture. If one way doesn't work, try another. They always say, okay, it didn't work. You are yelling at her. She doesn't want to be my friend, Miss Leal. What did you do? I told her I wanted her to be my friend. Well, that way didn't work. What about try another? Like what? Okay, what is your body language? Screaming or yelling? She thinks you're crazy by now. Okay, try another way. What if it doesn't work? Try another. That's why I love. Have you heard of Common Core?
Wow.
If I you're freaking out, right?
Oh my gosh.
I love Common Core math.
Yeah.
Guys, do you know why?
I know.
Because Common Core is, if one way doesn't work, try another. They allow you to show your work in 10 different ways, because depending on the way you learn. And I had to learn a lot of math. I'm telling you, just now I know math because of Common Core, because I had to learn. Discovery. Oh, she said bad things about me. Who told you? Maria told me. Oh, really? Go talk to Maria. What she told me I mean? Go check it out. Go there and ask. Replay the scene. Review a negative event. What can you do differently? Think of the consequences. Let go of destructive relationships. Yeah. Think about it. With somebody in your life. And I tell my kids to say, you can stay in my heart, but not in my life. Because there was one that didn't let her finish any of her work every time she tried. So she, you have to let go of this relationship for now, maybe later, but you don't be mean. You can stay in my heart. You can stay in my heart, but not in my life. Reward yourself, tolerate the feeling. It's not gonna last forever. Sometimes. And notice the source. Before you accept criticism or advice, notice who's telling you. So we practice this over and over and over. So the number of blood during recess decreased. They were able to using their words. They are good saying I'm sorry, because I'm sorry doesn't cut it for me in my classroom. If they say, I'm sorry, honey, it doesn't cut. So they have to say, if they're running and they bump into a child and the child, oh, I'm sorry, I go, oops, go back. And they have to say, I'm sorry for bumping into you. I go, sorry for, I go, because I was not paying attention. And I will make it up to you by picking you up, seeing if you are hurt, see if you need a Band-Aid. Just saying I'm sorry. You have to have an action afterwards. So now they are like, before they go, oh, I need to do something about it. They're thinking. And the kids got so excited that they decided, can we teach your kids next year about this? And they decided to create a PSA. Do you know what a PSA is? Public service announcement. So they got their iPads. The quality is not perfect, but it's funny because what is the best way of learning it? By doing it. And this is what I'm trying to inspire you is in your Spiritist center. Do it. Don't say much. Do it. If you're talking most of the time, talk 20%, have them do it 80%. Anything about love, about compassion. So, okay, that's the part that I freak out. Because I don't know how to find. So I'm going to show 4 PSAs. It's like 1.5 minutes. They have to give a quick information. The sound is not that loud. So,
which one are you going to start?
Anyone, just here?
Somebody.
All right. Enjoy, my kids.
Natalie, are you going to the party after school today? Probably not. There's a test tomorrow. Okay, bye. Should I go to the party or should I not? When in doubt, do what's hardest.
Oh, no, this is not this one. How do I go back? There was two. Okay. No.
You leaving me out of your game? Making me.
No, there's tons, but. Oh. Okay, you do it.
All right.
Just think, I'll hold the microphone. I like microphones.
Can I say cuss?
Okay, from the beginning. Okay, this is learn about. Can we
Everything
turn the
in
light
life
on?
has a cuss.
Just for this, it's easier. All right, back to my actors. Okay.
Everything in life has a cuss. Oh, and defense. Hey, come on, let's ditch school so we can go to the skateboard. Sure, let's do it.
Let's ditch school. The principal.
Close it off now. Yes, it didn't get caught. Or did you?
Referral. Okay, this is another one. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one that you want?
Yeah. So.
What's wrong? But they're not talking to you anymore. Well, go ask them. Okay, fine.
This girl, my student, she can never say I'm sorry. It was the hardest thing to apologize.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Why aren't you talking to me anymore? You're crazy. It didn't work. Well, if one way doesn't work, try another. And make sure you'll be nice this time.
Be nice this time. She was being sincere there.
I'm sorry for what I said. I didn't mean it in that way. I was just angry that you weren't answering my text. I'm sorry. I didn't mean it in that way. I was just so busy. Nothing personal.
I studied the plan. Okay, let's go now here.
It starts like.
No, stop. Oh, doesn't work. Try another. If one way doesn't work, this one now. This one, they won an award for the message. We did that.
What are you guys thinking about? We're thinking of letting go of destructive relationships. Hi, what's up? What's up, Sarah? What are you guys talking about? We're talking about doing a project. Nah, we can do that later. Let's go, man. Let's go. Have some fun.
Obsessive.
We can do that tomorrow. Yeah, we can do that. Want to do it by myself? I got an F on my test. She doesn't study like me. I got an A+. An F? That's okay. F stands for fantastic. Yeah, I think it's time to finish with you. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
sensitize. You could stay in my heart, but not in my life.
And the last one is here. This is the boys love this because they had fight every day in that school, in my class. Okay, from the beginning. And this is the last one.
Give me the green. What, you want fight?
Option 1.
Option number 2. Option number 3.
All right, all done. Can turn the light on.
What can you do when you hear?
All right, so where do I go back to my PowerPoint?
So this was a good activity, hands-on doing. When I teach a child, have them do it. And I bet some of us here are still learning those, right? If yelling at your husband, it doesn't work, try another, right? Or whatever, both ways. So this is just to share, you can do this with your child if you're parents. Teach your child coping skills because conflict and problems they're gonna have. So they need to know how to handle it. So at school and, all right, what else did I do with my kids? A lot of team building. Do this in your Spiritist Center. The PSA, role play. We role play the situation over and over. By that time, they had memorized the sentence frame, what they had to say. And at first, it's kind of a mechanic, but now they start to get it. Problem-solving discussion. They did a research on compassion. When I was teaching research-based, they had to do the writing. So I said the topic is research. Go on your computers and research what is compassion. And, you know, it was in my writing, creative writing. Let me just do this one. Music, I brought a lot of speakers, and we did a lot of bonding. For example, as I'm teaching, they are doing some coloring. We were doing an activity. I immediately got the guitar, I sit down with them and start singing a song, and they go, hey, what did you do last night? Oh, I did this. So I start to get to talk to them and bond. It's very important. When it comes to the Spiritist Center, we love Spiritism so much. We want to just teach so hard, but we haven't even bonded and build a trust relationship. They're not going to listen to you. So start always with that. I always start a day with some bonding, building. And I do a lot of circle time, which I want to come back here one day just to teach you guys restorative practices. I do this in the classroom, and it calms them down. It's not about circle here, talk about it. There is a ritual, an educational ritual, how we do things. They get the candles, and they say, I'm the light in this classroom. Today I can be a light by listening. Today I can be a light by being patient. So, and this has confidentiality. Oh, and there is one thing. Can I ask you to hold this? One thing we do before the circle. You know what this is? Yes. Ball. We call the breathing ball. Breathe with me. When I open, you just, just go. There we go. Again. It's so funny, I have a student who says, Miss Leal, you're too stressed. Let me give you a breathing ball. I know. I tried 10 times. It's so
stop checking. Oh, I'm getting bad grades and I'm feeling pressured. I don't know what to do. And it's just like, he goes, calm down, come here. And he goes, breathe. And I do with him. And they know where the breathing ball is. I have the breathing ball and I have the singing ball. You know what a singing ball is? Yeah. And then I have it in my classroom. When they're very hyper or having problems, we do it. Get one of these on Amazon for $9. Oh, but it's not called breathing ball. I have to spear. Something's here. Okay? And there's the good quality, this kind of. So I want to come back here one day and teach restorative practice. And it's a really good thing to learn. Oh, and to end this, this is what,
just two more things we're gonna do. Two more slides. This is the I love you ritual. It is just amazing. Remember Vanessa was talking about music? I sing every day. I start my day. I start with my students. I start my day with love. When I start my day with love, that's what I get more of is love. I go, I start my day with peace. And when they're screaming in the classroom, I just go, I start my day with peace. And I start singing, and suddenly one starts singing with me. And they go, I send my love over the mountains. I send my love over the seas. I send my love into this classroom, and he returns to me. And I love you ritual is, remember Vanessa was saying about touching? And we do this through I love you rituals. I love you rituals is a song. Usually we use through song. You have to have eye contact, connect, touch, and in a playful way. First, they don't like it. They feel weird because they are used to be touched. So I'm going to give you, and who created the name I Love You Ritual was Dr. Becky. And I'm going to show an explanation of the I Love You Ritual. And then we're going to sing one I Love You Ritual song. We want to end up with one. Yeah, I don't know how to find it. Yeah. Okay, I love you. Can you turn the light off, please? Is Mirella? Okay.
I love you rituals are designed to build bonds between people so that each person in the interaction feels a sense of connection. Connection with parents, connection with teachers, and connection between children. This sense of connection creates a biochemistry that optimizes the function of our brain. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, what a wonderful child you are. With big, bright eyes, they surround you. Talented person from head to toe. What a wonderful child you are, with bright eyes and nice smile. A talented person from head to feet. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, what a wonderful child you are.
Elise. Eric, how you doing? My name is DJ Baptiste.
Can you get on your knees?
Twinkle, little star, what a wonderful child you are. With bright eyes and nice talented personality. Twinkle, little star, what a wonderful child you are. One more bear hug for Mr. DJ.
Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. With bright eyes and rosy cheeks, a talented mother from head to feet. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. I love you.
Okay. Sorry, guys. I know everyone was like.
That's the consciousness.
There's the conscience. I do this with my kids, and they calm down. When they are freaking out, they're screaming, I just go with the I love you ritual, and we sing a song, and we touch, and this is amazing. And I was so glad. Vanessa and I, we didn't really talk about what we were going to be. We knew the topic, but we never shared exactly the details. And then when we found out they were so connected, I go, okay, there is the power there saying that this is important because it complements and it's just amazing. Do I love you rituals with your kid, with your husband, with your wife, with everybody that you can. We all need love. We need that contact. So, and in the Spiritist Center for sure. So it's here, right? Oh.
Yeah.
And then at the end, after I taught my kids I love rituals and all that, but guys, it took a long time. This was, my frustration lasts for 4 or 5 months. I did research, I tried to find out. It took a long time. That's why this school year, I started with day 1, social emotional learning. Are you crazy? You're not teaching math? Nope, for 2 weeks. Last week, Friday, Thursday, I do a circle once a week that's like deep. And I'll notice a lot of kids angry and crying. So I did the circle with the music. And all I have to say is, share one moment in your life that you were sad in the past that you are going through. And all it takes is one child to share. And he said, my grandma is dying, she's in the hospital. And she started to cry. The next one, it starts. So we had that, everybody shared. And in the end, those kids, at the end of last year's school year, before I left, they wrote this on my wall. And I didn't see it. When I came back to my classroom, to clean the classroom, it was there. Of course I cried. No, of course I cried. And I go, was it worth it? Everything I did I get through those kids? They're going to middle school. And this is what it says.
Have a great new school year. Hopefully you have a respectful class. We all miss you. You were a great teacher and you always be. Remember all the good times we all had together as a class and a family. This is it, family. We'll keep in touch. Sometimes we had a bunch of problems, but we all had some type of fun throughout the school year. We'll miss you a lot. We think of you as family. It says all here, and then it says here, this is, I cannot see, but this is the heart and there is a hole, but that's okay because your new kids are going to fill out the hole. And once I saw that family, because I never said, come on, my room is room 404. And then I would say, come on, room 404 family. We always call each other family. And I go, guess what, a family, right? Well, we love each other, we support each other. So I want to finish with one song. Then you're gonna stand up, look at the person next to you in threes, if we're in threes. Threesies, I say to my kid, do threesies. Threesies? Okay, threesies. They came up with that and I go, okay, it works. You're gonna listen to the song and you're gonna just sing the best you can. Okay, it's short. It is. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accept me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. And as I say, and you know what you're gonna do? Because this is the end. You're gonna get up and you're gonna find somebody else. And okay, it's math, it's all walking. Then you're gonna find somebody else and you're gonna say, thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accept me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. And hug her. And then you find somebody else, okay? But the song is here. I'm gonna play the CD. Yes, turn the light on. Thank you, down there. All right. You need to be here. All right, stand up. Stand up. Find somebody. Okay, somebody.
Thank you for
Okay, please listen.
Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am.
Good.
Thank you for loving me.
Okay, stay.
Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me.
All right, remember, let's sing. For loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accept me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. Okay, find somebody else. Two more and we're going to stop. Find another one. Come on. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for loving me. Accept me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me. It's the last one now. Okay, somebody different.
Thank you for loving.
Okay. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for
Accepting me
loving
just
me. Accepting me just the way that I am. Thank you for loving me.
Thank you for loving. Accepting me just the way that
Alright, so now,
thank you for loving me.
okay guys, I have some, please, not Alright, so just think about what I share here and how you can use this in your life, in your Spiritist center. And, and share this with others. I have the papers here at the end of the day with all the coping skills. And use this, because I use, as I teach my kids that are the first ones. So now, hope you enjoy. There's something out of there.